This is going to be a tough morning show, I'll be honest with you. It may be the toughest one I've ever done.
It's going to be hard.
It is. Don't even know how to start the... don't want to be a totally sad morning, but there's no way around it.
Well, we have to pay tribute to our friend and our coworker. You worked with him most of your life.
Yeah. If you missed the news, a lot of people may not have heard the news, but if you missed it yesterday morning, a little after 9 o'clock, we just finished the morning show. I was back at my desk and got a phone call about 9:15. And the person on the other, I'm not going to go into details of what was said, but basically they let us know that our afternoon announcer, my good friend, your friend, who you've been here a couple of years now, you become friends with him, worked with him through many festivals, Rod SISCO, passed away suddenly, unexpectedly. From what we know, heart attack. Paramedics got there, but not in time. But even from what I understand, had they got there earlier, not sure that they could have done anything to save him. It was what they're considering, I guess, a massive heart attack.
Yes, and when you say unexpected, Rod had been collectively healthy. He had been trying to work on his health.
Sure.
Like, he went from drinking 12 Cokes a day
right,
to back to water.
And walk. He was beginning to walk.
Walking, yeah.
The main question was, had he had any history?
Yeah.
Blood pressure, yes.
People have asked me, did you know it was coming? No.
No one
did
knows
not
a
know.
massive heart attack is coming, period. I had heart surgery over 15 years ago. I didn't know it was coming.
And he's so young.
He is.
56.
54, I think.
54, yeah, 54.
Yes, but yeah, he's had some blood pressure issues, but we all do.
We all do.
If you just went to the doctor and were honest about it, we all do.
Yeah.
But as far as other things leading up to this, no, not that we know of, or he mentioned. He never talked about it. I'd seen him just when him doing afternoons, me doing mornings, unless I come back by the station.
We missed each other.
Our paths don't connect.
Yeah.
But when we're here together, his desk has been next to mine.
40 years, yeah. Has he always been in that same
Not 40.
desk?
He hasn't been here 40 years.
40 million.
No, but yeah.
So it's always been the same.
Well, there was Al Taylor used to sit there. And then when Al left, Rod moved into that desk.
That's been a
He was
while,
my next door neighbor. Yeah, he's been my neighbor and for like that desk. He's been my buddy for years.
Yeah, and y'all have done a lot together.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll try my best to bring back the happiest memories I have, but we're also going to give listeners a chance. If you'd like to say something, I encourage you to go to our Facebook page, WQSB's Facebook page. That's the best place to go and write something. Write a comment if you'd like to.
Yes, and I would like to also let you know that we are recording this episode.
Yeah.
And we are going to put it on the podcast, but we're also going to make sure that it's shared with Rod's family.
Yes.
So that Rod has a legacy and a show dedicated to him forever.
Right.
We will have this forever. So if you have a comment about Rod or something that he had said or done that through the years that just had to make you giggle, come give us a comment and we'll read those out loud.
Yeah, and we're going to play some songs. We don't want this to be a morning show full of nonstop depressing songs. No, but there is a lot of songs we talked about. Mm-hmm. We'll get into more about this later. But music, that was one thing me and him had so much in common was music. We are a lover of not just the way the song sounds, but looking into the lyrics and what is it saying?
He had to dissect the lyrics.
He did, and we would do that, sit at my desk. He would say, hey, man, how about this new song from Rascal Flats? Mm-hmm. Which one? He said, there's this line in it. And then we would look at that line and we would talk about what we thought it meant. And we did that. And then he and Mike Allen did that pretty much every day when Rod come in. Valerie did this. So it's music. I think I know a lot about music, but I couldn't touch Rod SISCO.
No, I couldn't even have these conversations with Rod.
No.
I couldn't hang with y'all.
No.
I could not hang. And he
He knew more about music than should be allowed.
Yeah.
It was because we used to work together on WAVU next across the hall.
Yeah.
When it was classic hits. It was top 40 old classic songs, and there's still a book here.
Yeah.
This is the book that we had over there. Look at how much we use of this. But it's called Top 40. This is the country version, but there's another version that's got the top 40 pop songs in it.
Does it have a lot? Here, let me see.
This is the country version. That's what he and Mike would go through. There was another version for top 40 radio. Every song ever recorded that made the top 40, it gave you information about it. And if we ever had a question, it's before Google became Google. That was our Google right there as far as music. We would go through that book and say, well, it says here that this song, Boston's More Than a Feeling, was number 2 in Canada, and it was written on a cold, wintry night or whatever. But anyway, he loved music. We're going to play some songs this morning.
Yeah.
Ones I know that he liked, and we'll talk about a lot of things. And we've got some guests coming in this morning, and I believe some special guests will be joining us also. So we want to make the show. It's not about me. It's not about Holly. It's our morning show, but it's about Rod SISCO today, because yesterday was the first day that QSB almost went silent, beginning at 2 o'clock. We chose not to have anybody fill in that shift. We chose to do. You wrote a tribute.
3.
Mike recorded it.
Yeah.
We played those during your shift. That's what's going to happen again today. We're not going to put anybody in that shift again today out of respect. That, in my book, nobody can fill those shoes. We've got plans for next week, which we have to make some kind of plan, but we'll talk more about that later. But in the meantime, today, if you'd like to make a phone call, we'll do our best to put some callers on the air. We can't put everybody, but we'll do our best. So, but in case you, again, missed what we were saying, our buddy, our friend, Rod SISCO, our afternoon guy, he's had the #1 afternoon show for over 20 years in North Alabama, the most listened to show, passed away yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll give you more details and do the best we can. It's not going to be a normal morning show. We're not going to do the Finally Fridays and sorry, Mrs. C, no chicken truck today.
No
chicken truck is pulled over to the side of the road today.
No secret sound.
No, we're no secret sound on Monday. We'll do it on Monday.
Yeah, we ask you, hang tight with us. We are going to get back into a new normal, but we will never have the same normal without Rod. It'll never be the same.
No.
But just hang tight with us. Give us a little grace as we navigate this loss, because like you said yesterday, in the history of WQSB, this has never happened. We've had employees get sick.
Yep.
We've had employees diagnosed with disease and illnesses that have passed away. We have had many employees through the last 60, how many years?
Sure, over 60 years.
60 years that have passed
sure.
away. But never, unexpectedly, one of our DJs hours before his shift.
Right.
We have never had this happen. So as we navigate this uncertain path, please just hang tight with us, and we hope you still enjoy the show. We hope that, we still are here for you, as we know that you are for us, but this morning will be a little different.
And we encourage you to watch the show on Facebook Live.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of emotions on Facebook Live. We've got some visitors coming in and out. This will be a good show to watch. And now Facebook deletes lives after 30 days. That's their new policy. So this live will go away 30 days from now, but we will have the podcast on the website forever.
And in my book, this will be one of the, I guess, most important morning shows we've ever done.
Yeah.
As far as paying tribute to someone who meant so much to us.
Yeah. And it's hard because, Mrs. C, please don't take this the wrong way. Neither one of us want to be here.
No.
I don't want to be here today. I don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and put on makeup and fix my hair and pretend like it's a good day because we've lost a family member.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to sit in this chair today because I know we won't see him again until it's my turn. And think of his children. He has 2 beautiful daughters, a handsome son, sweet children.
Yeah.
They're in their late 20s, early 30s, and they were close. They shared a love for music together. Think of them in this time. We need prayers. Yes, I see you guys commenting, praying for you guys, and we need it, and we are so thankful. But his children, don't forget his children when you are praying for Rod.
And we appreciate it. And we'll go over some of the comments in a few minutes, and we're looking at them now on our Facebook Live, and we appreciate that. And we'll be showing these and sharing these with his family coming up later this morning. I know one of his daughters, maybe the family coming by this morning to talk with us too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a special show. We appreciate you joining us. We'll do the best we can to give you the information you need. It may be a little bit different today.
Yeah. Maybe different today, and maybe different forever for the rest of our lives without Rod. But we're going to make it work, and got some things planned for you, and we hope that you take this morning in the next 6 to 9 and help us remember our friend.
All right, it's 6:18.
Mornings with Barry and Holly here on Alabama's country giant WQSB.
I'm not going to say coworker because yes, we work together, but he's my friend.
I know he's family. He's friend / family.
He is, and we invite you. We're going to read over some of the comments on the Facebook, but a gentleman on the phone with me. I call him gentleman, but it's D.
It's just D.
He's the only man I can say this that I hugged like 2 little kids in a hot air balloon when we hit the ground, and lived to tell about it, and I'm not ashamed. D. Miller, how you doing?
Man, it's a morning, Barry. It's a morning, and I'm telling you right now, your story about us hugging each other is totally the biggest truth I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember that day to a T of Barry saying, "D, hush, we're about to hit the ground."
Quit screaming like a girl.
Yeah.
We were, and all I remember was Barry saying, "Oh, my knee," and that's all I remember. And it was one of them days. It was, but let me tell you something, guys.
But D, how long has it been since you worked with us, D?
2017.
Yeah, and D worked with us for many years and loved working with you, D. You're awesome. Did a great job. We had some fun times. We had some fun times with our buddy Rod SISCO, and you were calling in and we appreciate you listening to us this morning, D. So give us your thoughts. You worked with Rod. You were good friends with Rod. What are your personal thoughts, D?
Let me tell you something. Rod was such a great guy. Rod was a straightforward shooter. He was the GOAT of radio, and that's what I've called him for so many years.
Yeah.
And Rod had so much knowledge and so much and not just in music. I'm talking about in life.
Yep.
And in things that were not even attributed to radio. And let me tell you something. We had some good talks. He talked me through some things that like I told you earlier, poor choices in life.
Sure.
He was there by my side. People like me don't deserve a friend like Rod.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Rod just really, he would tell you how it was, but let me tell you, Rod was a hard worker. Rod loved the listeners. Rod, the things I've seen him do made me want to be a better radio DJ. Wanted me to be a better wedding DJ. I DJ'd his daughter's wedding.
Oh, wow.
I DJ'd.
Yeah.
I DJ'd. Things that he was at. He would come to me and say, "Hey, I need this music for this event." I would help him. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
He would, and he taught me so much. But there were so many great stories, but there's so many funny stories. My office was in the very back, and everybody would come hang out in the office, and we would laugh and cut up, and the drink machine was back there, so I had to see everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, one day, me and Blake Clark, when Blake had just first started, we had got this thing, and I actually do believe we got it from Barry Galloway. Barry Galloway was a prankster. We had a a zapper that killed flies. You remember the tennis racket?
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Well, me and Blake and Rod come walking through the door, and Rod looked at me and Blake and said, "You're not going to touch that, are you?" And Blake said, "Yes, I am." Well, we commenced, both of us, touching it, zapping our fingers, and we got to laughing so hard. And then Blake turned the chair over backwards because he was laughing so hard. I have never seen Rod so red-faced and laughing. I mean, tears were coming out of his eyes, and it was, the things we got into. Just the things we got into were just never leave us, and that's the one thing is I know it's hard for you guys. I know it is, and I know it's hard for this family because, Asia and Grant and Savannah were his world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Were his world, and we knew this every day. But just remember, we knew what Rod was, and we knew what he had an impact on our lives, and that's what we look at every day.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to call, and I was driving through down the interstate this morning, and I just wanted to say, you know what, we're praying for you. We're really thinking about you. I mean, y'all aren't coworkers, y'all are family.
We are.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And this is not a hey, my buddy, passed away, or this is my family member, this is my brother,
exactly.
This is my, and I know that everyone, and all I can tell you is just check on your people.
Mm-hmm.
That's check on your people and make sure that you guys are there and okay. And if you need anything, you call us, okay?
Well, Dean, man, I appreciate you. Only thing I won't do for you if you call me is that if you're going to get up in a hot air balloon, I'm going to have to say no. That's not going to happen again, Dee. I'm sorry.
No, my hot air balloon days are over with.
Are y'all sure? Because there's so much more advancement in video these days. I feel like y'all could get a better shot.
No, I don't matter. No, I'm done. More than done on that one.
Let me tell you something. Me and Barry had some great adventures.
Yeah, we did.
That was not one of them.
That one did not end well. PETA even came in and almost put us in jail because they thought we killed cows.
Oh my gosh!
Those were bushes.
And let me tell you another.
Those were bushes.
Let me tell you real quick. I was the crazy guy that got to hold the possum for the first time.
Yes, you were.
And let me tell you, and let me tell you something.
Yeah.
If I could ever replay Rod's face and your face when I was holding that thing up, y'all were terrified. Y'all didn't know which way it was going to go.
We thought we were about to call you old nine fingers. We thought you was about to lose. The old pinky's gone.
It's gone. But
well, Dave, man, I appreciate you so much. It's good to hear from you, and thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that.
Hey, and then you know what? We're praying for you, and we love you, and hope that I'd love to see you, and we probably will real soon, but not for these circumstances. But I just wanted to let you know, we're praying for you guys.
Right. Thank you, Dee. Take care. Well, good to hear from you, man. Be careful.
You too.
All right, goodbye. That's Dee Miller. Used to work with us, with Rod for many years. Hey, go over some of these comments if you don't mind. People commenting. You can watch this on Facebook Live. We're going to have some guests coming in. I just heard from another good friend, Blake Clark, who stopped by yesterday. He was good friends with all of us, and still is, and with Rod, and he's going to stop by later this morning. And love Blake.
Justin Frost says, the first time I met Rod was at the Main Street Music Festival here in Albertville. Barry and Rod were on stage doing an intro for a band, and y'all stopped to help the medics over the loudspeaker to get to his wife who had passed out, and he said he will never forget that.
Well, I forgot about that until he brought that up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sheila Haney says, I'm not going to be able to hear him while driving home from work. He knew what songs to play. He knew, oh God, it's so hard. He said, all that y'all do, stop talking. I had things in common with Barry and now with Rod's family. Please keep his wife and girls in your prayers. Tell someone you love them, because tomorrow is never promised.
Yeah. That's so important. Yeah, well, you hear that a lot, but just think of it like this. Rod left here on Wednesday after his shift, and basically told Trey,
He signed off for the
See you
last
tomorrow,
time.
buddy.
Yeah.
Had no idea he wouldn't come back and be on the air again. No idea. It's like I tell you, we leave here at 9 o'clock this morning. There's no guarantee I'll be back Monday or you'll be back Monday. We don't know. So let the people that you care about know about it. I told what we'll do. Rod I put together a list of the songs that we had talked about, songs he loved, and I'm going to play one of those coming up next. All right, so if you missed what we're talking about, our afternoon announcer, my friend, good friend, your friend, Rod SISCO, unfortunately passed away yesterday morning. And this show is all about Rod. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about Rod SISCO, and we appreciate the comments. And so feel free to watch us on Facebook Live and comment. Put a comment on there if you would. We'd love to read some of these and show these to his family. It's,
Yeah.
it's
I'm going to be honest. We need it. We need
do.
it. We need a lift. We need a pick me up. There's not many things that we ask for,
No,
but we need it today.
we do. We just need your prayers. It's 6:33. Now, we were at in Rainsville and Diamond Rio. They were just getting started, and I never forget. We were standing outside, and it was coming a storm, and people were lining up to come into in Rainsville to the which I guess the Cobb County Schools Coliseum now. That's where they had so many concerts back then. We were me and him were going to bring on Diamond Rio, and lightning popped and hit a tree not 50 feet from us. People scattered. And we were live on the radio, and I remember we looked at each other and said, "Just glad we didn't cuss, man."
I know.
Because it hit not 50 feet from us.
I'm surprised neither one of you could.
It was close. One of the funniest, this is embarrassing, but one of the funniest memories of Rod, Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw was there. Can you believe Tim McGraw opened for Diamond Rio? He
That's
was
crazy.
an opener.
That's crazy.
He was new. He was just starting, and me and Rod were going to get to interview Tim McGraw. So we walked into the Civic, and they were doing a sound check on the stage. And I looked, and there was this person with long blonde hair playing keyboards, dancing around. And I said, "Man, she's kind of cute." He said, "Dude, that's a guy." He turned around and it was.
Very.
No, that's. I would never forget that. Rod laughed about that forever. He said,
Oh
"Hey,
my God.
how about that Tim McGraw keyboard player?"
He thought it was cute.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So anyway, it's we need to laugh and not cry through the entire show because it's tough.
Yeah, but I got a message from my niece. She's a licensed therapist in Florence, and she knows I struggle. She checks on me every now and then, and she says she had a little bit of a drive this morning, and she left me a voice message, and she was just like, you know, I know you don't want to be there. I know that's not what you want to be doing today. No, this is not where we want to be, but this is where we have to be.
Yeah.
To honor Rod. What are you looking at?
I'm trying to find. So we got some pieces for Rod. I want to play some of them, but if you would play. No, she's on the interstate.
Yeah,
Can you play
she's
that?
on the interstate. So yeah, I can play it. Just know that it's a little loud with the background noise. But hold on.
Good morning. I'm driving to Fairhope this morning, and I just turned on the show.
Yeah,
Can't hear it.
that is a little rough.
You can't
But
hear
basically,
it.
can you tell us what she was saying?
Yeah, I can read it. It says, I turned on the show. Hopefully you can hear me driving. Well, we couldn't. It's the interstate here. We could tell. She said, I know that you're not really wanting to be at work today. I really would rather probably be anywhere else where you are, but I'm so proud of your honesty and y'all's commitment to show up when it's really hard. You've always been so good at that. Showing up when things are good, but you absolutely show up when things are hard. And I think it's such a special thing that you both, you and Barry, are doing today. And I love you so much. I just pray that God fans the flame in you today, and that you can be brighter than you've been in a long time, because you're doing such a sacrifice to be on the air today. Both of you. I pray that the Holy Spirit in the room is with you, because I can't wait to listen to the remainder of the show. I love you so much. And you're such a strong, steadfast, unwavering person. I've always known that about you, and today it's just another one of those times that really proves that it proves who you are and what you put into this earth to do. That's really the light in our dark space. I pray that God is near you and Barry right now as you guys learn to live without the life that you've lost and figure out how to move forward. And I love you both so much. I'm listening and praying. May the light that you are shine.
That means a lot. We appreciate the comments like that, and it's going to be hard. I'll be honest with you right now. QSP will always be WQSP, and we think their listeners have made us. But going forward, QSP will not be the same.
No,
I'm not knocking who we have to replace Rod. You can't replace
but
Rod.
whoever it is not Rod.
And nothing again. We may bring in the greatest radio announcer in the entire world, but it's not going to be Rod SISCO. For the past, I forget how many years exactly he's been on QSB, because he was on WAVU across the hall with me for years. We worked weekends. We got our start together working one day a week.
Tell the story. I didn't realize yesterday when we were talking that he started here when he was in the 10th grade.
I think so, 10th, 11th, somewhere in that area, right? He decided this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a radio announcer.
Yeah.
And he was in school, and he said, I didn't like school. It wasn't for me. He said, I decided I wanted to be a radio announcer. So we came here and just talked, and we'll get, I think Ted McCreelis, if he's coming in this morning,
Yeah.
he can tell us more about this. Because I don't remember exactly how it went down, because I was part-time at the moment, too.
Yeah.
And then Rod came in, and he began doing it, loved it, and said, yeah.
Did y'all know each other before the radio station?
Didn't know him. Just knew he was a kid. I wasn't much older than him, who just wanted to do radio.
Yeah.
He wanted to be an announcer. He just thought this would be so cool.
I'll never forget. Did I interrupt you?
No.
I'll never forget being up here 2 years ago at this time in June. And I called my mama on the way home, and I said, Mama, I just had an interview at WQSV. And she was like, I know, you've told me 50 times. How did it go? I said, Mama, I met Barry Galloway and Rod SISCO. And she was like, what are they like? What are they like? What's it like? I said, Mama, they're the same people. And you've heard this, but you're the same people that you are off the air. And Rod really was. He had a sassy attitude.
Yeah.
And he was sassy off air too.
Yeah.
And I love Rod because he was a straight shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He did not beat around the bush.
No.
You did not have to wonder what he was thinking.
No.
He was going to tell you.
One thing I loved most about him was he would tell me this on Friday nights when he got off. If he didn't have anything to do during football season, he would listen to WAVU, Power 107.5, Albertville football. He said, don't know a kid that plays there, don't have a clue who they are. Teams may not be very good, don't matter. He said, you are the best I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Isn't that a lot?
You are.
No.
No, Rod said that because...
But he would listen on a Friday night.
Yeah.
He said, because I can picture what's going on the way you paint the picture.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I appreciate that. He said, you make me want to listen to a team I know nothing about because I enjoy how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was honest.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell me, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? But he said, man, you do a great job. And that meant more to me because he's a co-worker, but he knew sports. He loved sports, loved basketball, loved everything. For him to say that meant a lot to me.
I think we value so much of what Rod said because he was such a straight shooter. And if he said it, he meant it.
Yeah. So anyway, if you missed the news earlier, what we're talking about is Rod SISCO passed away unexpectedly yesterday morning. And we're doing our best to honor him this morning in the best we can. So just be patient with us. And then thank you so much for the comments. You can watch us on Facebook Live, I think 134. We've got some guests coming in this morning. Blake Clark, After Dark, was going to be, he and Rod were so close.
And we're reading your comments. We need these today.
Yeah.
We need these today.
We'll read some more of these live, and we got some guests calling us. I think even we reached out to Teddy Gentry yesterday of Alabama, and because I know Teddy and Randy, and when Jeff was with us, they listened to QSP because this is their hometown.
Hometown,
Because they mentioned once that anytime they're on the road and they're coming off the road, they knew when they could pick up QSP on the radio, they're almost home.
You know what breaks my heart? I just thought about, oh man. Harlow. Dadgummit.
What?
Harlow cheered for the last 3 years for Pee Wee.
And he did the cheerleader intros because Rod was always good. The cheerleaders sponsors would reach out and say, "Hey, would you mind recording our intros for the cheerleaders to come out to?" Didn't matter which school it was, he loved doing that. And I remember going to some of the games this year, and the voice you heard, that was Rod SISCO doing the intros for the Douglas Pee Wee cheerleaders. He did that for so many schools. All right, it's 6:49.
It's here.
About 6 months after I came here, and I was trying to remember. He was in high school at Douglas.
Yeah, I think 10th grade, I believe,
Gotcha.
at Douglas.
Okay.
And so I was kind of recalling some of this yesterday, and I got a phone call from Michael Sievers.
Right.
Michael was here at the time, and he was asking about Rod and the situation and so forth. And Michael reminded me, or he asked me the question. He said, "Do you know who hired Rod originally?" And I said, "You." And sure enough, Michael was the program director of WAVU at the time. You know, when we played the classic hits.
Right.
And so he actually. He mentioned, he said, Rod came by and wanted a job. He said, and Warren Penny was our general manager at the time. Of course, anytime you mentioned Warren Penny, if you knew him, you had to imitate his voice. Which he said, so I went back and asked Mr. Penny. He said, I got this young guy. He said, he's still in high school, 10th grader. And Warren said, well, give him a chance. Let him record something, see how it sounds.
That's just like him.
You know. But we had Michael and I had a nice conversation about Rod, and Rod was just so anxious to get his foot into radio. I've heard you guys talking about him this morning, and that's the way it was. That was his ambition and his love and desire and a lifetime career. And I guess if you do the math on it, it's like 38 years from 10th grade, 1987 to now.
In the world of radio, that's unusual. If you don't know the history of radio stations, usually a person's not there very long. They go from town to town to town to town, and they just keep moving around.
But not here.
No, that's why this hurts more than what you would most jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we're not just co-workers. We actually are all very close.
Yeah. You know, and that's something that, we've always had longevity here at the radio station, but more so over the last, say, 30 years, because when I started here years ago, you had more people passing through.
Yeah.
And they were going to larger markets, and they would leave here and try to go to Birmingham or try to go to Atlanta, wherever. And as years have gone by, those of you like you and Rod and Dale and a number of others here have stayed with the station and made a long-term career out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a great place to be.
The Curringtons have done such a great job in building this to be a family radio station.
Right, for sure.
Not just the product we deliver, but the people who work here care for each other.
Oh, yeah, we definitely
Holly
do.
came in, and you were a good fit. You fit right in because you're as crazy as the rest of us.
I know. I'm just as weird. Ted's desk is right beside mine. He
When
knows.
Ted interviews you, he had to go through this crazy list of craziness, and he checked Mark, and he checked every box.
I was like, I fit that too.
Yeah.
That works. That fits. I don't have the kind of personal stories to share that some of you guys have who've hung out together and been at more events. And I will say this, though, as the time that I had with Rod at various festivals and remotes and events like that, invariably we'd talk about music.
Yes.
And that was always his passion and my passion, and we'd kind of compare notes on our favorite groups and concerts and things that we had been to. Of course, he was a lot more into lyrics than I was. I was more into the music and the instrumentation.
Right.
But Rod dug into the lyrics and these are things I never had even heard. Did they say that in that song?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing, and I'll move on. I know y'all got a lot to do, but. I'll mention from a work standpoint, Rod was so good as production director.
Yeah.
Okay, he was in charge of getting the commercials put together and in the system to play on the radio. And through the years, we've had sales reps who tended to maybe put things off to the last minute. Not calling any names, but we've had a few from time to time that. We're kind of tardy in getting the commercial copy in, and this is Friday afternoon at 5:00, and Rod is trying to make sure the commercials are ready for Monday morning or even Saturday morning. And but he was always so I don't know what's the right term, but so agreeable and easy to work with the sales reps. And he didn't berate them, he didn't pound on them, and get on to them. He was just, he had patience with them.
Yeah.
Patience is the word I guess I'm looking for, because sometimes you have to. And in this business, a lot of things do get bumped to the very last deadline.
Yeah.
But Rod was patient and
was.
understanding.
If you want, I want to play something. Abbey Awards 2 years ago, you had a chance to go, first one. Mm-hmm. And me and Rod worked on this promo. It's been about 10 years ago. This is probably, hope Sharon Tinsley's not listening. It's the only thing that's ever won 2 Abbey Awards for the same promo. Me and Rod, we had a Show Us Your Whitetail contest was coming up, and we wanted to do something different. So we had the idea of it. Was it the beer? Was it Budweiser?
It's Budweiser, yeah.
About Real Men of Genius, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
That thing was going on. I said, why don't we do one like this, Rod? I said, help me write this. And we wrote it and got Nick Longshore to come in and record this. And Rod produced this, and it won 2 Abbey Awards for the best promo of the entire state of Alabama. Twice.
Oh, yeah.
So sorry, Sharon Tinsley, that we cheated, but we won because it was so good. And here's the promo.
Before we move on, now Sharon's listening, because this is her favorite morning show in the whole state of Alabama.
Well, I'm glad she voted again because we won.
Sharon,
this one is so good, Sharon. It won twice.
We love you.
Here's Rod SISCO with their promo.
WQSB presents Real Deer Hunters of America.
Real Deer Hunters of America.
Today, we salute you, old lover of the venison, wearer of the camo, you that gets up 2 hours before daylight to climb a tree in 12-degree weather.
Oh, I can't feel my legs.
You've shown us that the best racks really are in the woods.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
This season, when you bag it, snap it, and share it, you can win at WQSB.com.
Oh, show us your whitetail, baby.
So fill your thermos, shake up your hot hands, and enjoy your season. And pay no mind to that one family member who always calls you Elmer Fudd.
Be very, very quiet.
Because we know you ain't shooting blanks. We tip our orange hats to you, the real deer hunters of America.
Real Deer Hunters of America.
That played last year at the Abbeys, and it got a huge ovation from people. That's because we were writing this. He said, "Man, you've written some stupid stuff before, but this may be the worst." And I said, "No, it's going to work." And he cut that, and he won 2 awards.
Fabulous. That's one of the best things, in my opinion, when we've ever played on this radio station.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, thanks for coming in this morning.
Guys.
We appreciate it.
Great job.
It's 7:01. 7:16, and we're talking about our good friend Rod SISCO this morning. And I'll tell you, 6 o'clock news, if you missed that. Scott Chambers, our newsman. And Scott is not just our newsman, but he's one of the family, because I've known Scott for many years. Now, he's known Rod SISCO for many years, and he's on the phone with us. Scott, good morning, and how you doing?
Good morning, Barry. Well, man, I think we've all been doing better than we are today. My heart goes out to you and Holly and everybody there at WQSB. Rod SISCO, what a guy. I grew up listening to Rod.
Yeah.
I worked at that company back in 2001 to 2003. I was down in Rainbow City at WKXX, and so I didn't work with Rod. I didn't know him nearly as well as you and Holly and everybody there. I actually, Barry, I knew Rod, and he was great to me working with him. I did get to know him, and that was awesome getting to know him. But y'all knew him extremely well. I knew Rod probably more from the listener side because I grew up as a child listening, living in Southside and listening to WQSB. I won Secret Sound one time from Rod.
Oh my God!
Oh, funny.
How much did you win, Scott?
$100. I'll never forget
Wow.
it. I was in fourth grade. When I won it. Back when I was. Oh no! Y'all may. I've never told this story. I was a lifetime prize collector. That's not what we call them behind the scenes.
No, we have a name for you.
Yeah. I'll call it down on the radio. And Rod probably cursed me out when I was a kid because I would call and try to win every contest from that man, and he was always so nice to me. And so when I ended up working with him years later, it was like Holly was talking about this, that's Rod SISCO.
Yeah.
And so for me that was cool. But doing news, Barry. I have to report on what happens in the news. But when you know the subject of the story, it turns personal, and it hurts when you see friends like you and Holly and everybody there at QSB hurting. It hurts me. It hurts today, man. This is a tough one. And I'll share this final piece because I know there's lots of people that want to talk about what a great guy Rod was, and I'm very insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But I will say this. I used to have a real bad habit. And I don't condone smoking at all, but when I worked there, I would go outside, and I got several of those cool times to stand outside and talk to Rod back in the day, and he gave me some great advice about this business. And I'll keep that off the air about a former general manager. He coached me through how to deal with a former GM we had, and great advice. Great advice from that man. But what a man he was, man. That voice, I will never forget that. And Rod can remember something. I'll say this, and then I got to go. But I went back and watched yesterday's Seth's Food Challenge from a few weeks ago when Rod had it in the afternoon, and I'd made some comments, and Rod mentioned my name and remembered something about me that I didn't even remember from when we worked together 20 years ago. He starts telling Will about I'm related to some guy at a car dealership. I forgot I was even related to the guy. I'm like, how did Rod remember that from 20 years ago? He was that kind of guy, y'all. We've all lost a friend, and man, I know y'all are hurting. We're hurting at Yellowhammer for y'all. And just the broadcast business in Alabama, it's very rare that someone starts at a radio station and works there 5 years, 10 years, but much less 30 their entire career.
You're right.
And that man, as you know, Barry, Rod SISCO was talented. We're not just saying this because we all knew him. That man was talented enough he could have worked in market number one. That's how good he was.
You're absolutely right. Well, Scott Chambers, it means a lot for you taking some time and call in and joining us. We appreciate you, and we love you, and thank you for your kind comments.
I love both of y'all, and again, my thoughts and prayers go out to Rod SISCO's family.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Have a good day.
Y'all too.
All right. And speaking of folks, I'll tell you, one of my favorite announcers I've ever worked with is in the room, and I mean this.
Oh, really?
I'm serious. Blake could have been here as long as he wanted to, but different reasons, GMs.
Different,
Yeah, but we won't get into any of that but I know that when we talk about being friends, I've been friends with Rod a long time, but when you came in, you worked Blake Clark. Well, first, hey, Blake Clark.
How are you?
Good. But you would follow Rod, and I know you would come in early, and you and Rod became very close. You and Rod and Mike became all very close.
Yes. A little scratchy voice this morning.
I just moved that my word. You're the man with the microphone.
Of course, I'm used to being on your side years ago.
I know.
But no, Rod actually, he took the patience. I was, my shift didn't start till 7. I was here from 7 to midnight, and but I was getting here around 4:30 or 5 every day, and Rod was teach me what I needed to do, how I needed to do it, and he was very patient with me because I didn't really want to do radio at the time.
Really?
I was nervous. I was scared to death.
I didn't know that.
And Rod's like, just do it. Quit thinking about it. So as far as the production side of everything, and even back the days of Riverfest, and we would go on stage at festivals, the funniest thing, he learned me. He knew how I operated. So he wouldn't tell me what I had to do until like 2 minutes before we had to go on stage.
Gotcha.
And then he would just put 2 hands on my back and push me, say, go, do it. Don't think about it. So he actually helped me with a lot of stuff, and we became good friends. And Rod was actually the best man at my wedding. And so even, after my last shift here, y'all are used to seeing me up here because I'm still up here 3 or 4 times a month. I keep in contact with these guys, and, we talk every few days. And so it's somebody that's played a big role in my life in radio and everything that I've done during that time, but even after it too. So
it's important to us whenever we hire somebody. Yes, we're looking for somebody to fill a shift, but I think for that person to be able to stay here long term, they've got to be able to have a personality that fits in. You've got to just be able to get along with people and treat people right, and you've always been that guy.
Exactly.
And you fit right in, and like Holly said when she came in, she had to check every box of how crazy are you and go down the list, and she hit all 10 boxes on. Yeah, I think you did. You hit 10 and 12. You hit all 20 of them.
Yeah, I was on my color on the color spectrum. I was neon green on crazy. So, but Rod knew to even normal jobs, you'll have up and down days to where, hey, I want to be there today. I want to be there this month. I'm looking forward to it. Or there's weeks to where you don't really want to be here, but you got to be here to make a paycheck, to do what you got to do. And Rod was good at leveling me out and saying, hey, I can tell that you're not in it, but here's what you got to do. And he was always the even keel. Every day I came in, he was even. So he could tell when I was upset or I was ill, and he's like, look, you're going to have to here's what you do, get through it. He was always a positive person for me.
Well, I won't put you on the spot, but I know some of the Riverfest times we've had, you probably got some memories, but if there's one that's family friendly, you're welcome to say it, but if not, but anything comes to mind of anything of festivals, because we had some fun at a lot of the festivals, and there were some crazy times with people. And
there's so many. Working here, I've always told people, working here, I have seen more concerts behind the stage than I ever have in front of it.
Yeah.
So it's after you work in radio, it's fun to see a concert in front of the stage. But one of the best ones that me and him have talked about, Aaron Tippin was in Southside. And so Aaron Tippin, part of his show, he builds a bicycle on the show, and he does it for the kids. And me and Rod were standing, by the stage where we're getting ready to go on. And Aaron Tippin, during the middle of his song, he just looks up and he says, hey, Rod and Blake, y'all come on up here. And me and him both were shocked. Like, what? He just called us by name. How does he know that? Yeah, and how does he know that? How did he get our names? So me and Rod, we talked about that for months after that happened, and that's been, of course, a few years ago. So
I don't know if you were there the year at Riverfest when we put the tea bag in the Duncan booth of the radio station next to us, and that was legendary.
No.
We got the other station was giving us grief, and Friday we said Saturday, okay, we've got you. We're going to shut you down.
Yeah.
So they had this huge Duncan booth. So I brought Lipton tea bags, and we got there early to set up. And I threw about 3 of them in there, and by the time they got there to open their tent, it looked like somebody took a big dump in the Duncan booth, and they they had to drain all the water out, and it took them like half a day to get the water back in there. So by lunchtime, they had nobody in front of their tent. We had a line wrapped down to the river.
Oh goodness! And about the same thing happened at Rock the South back in, I think this was back in 2014. Not the teabag thing, but Rod was there, and if you're familiar with Rock the South, it rains every year.
Every year.
So that year, I think we were all stuck in a vehicle during the thunderstorm, sitting there raining. But in the end, everybody ended up at our tent because there was a lot of stuff going on. So,
well, Blake, thank you for coming in. I know,
yes, sir.
I know you were here yesterday, and I appreciate coming by. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but it's just a shock. And I know it's hard, and we appreciate your thoughts.
It's tough. I mean, Rod, I will say this before I go. Rod, my dad passed away back in 2013. I was here. And I came back to work here on air 3 days after my dad passed, and Rod took me through every step of that. So he's got a place in my heart, and that's why I've never let him outside of my life. He's been in there every moment since then. So I owe a lot of stuff to him. He helped me through the worst part of my life. So great man. Great man. That's all I can say. A great man.
Blake Clark, After Dark. You'll always be part of the QSB family. Thank you, Blake.
Thank you.
All right, as we pay tribute to Rod SISCO this morning, here's a song me and Rod had talked about before. It was Ed Sheeran, but he and Luke Combs did the version of it on an award show. Rod said, man, that should be a country song. We began playing it starting after the award show. It's Life Goes On WQSB. And if you want to read over some of the comments, feel free on our Facebook Live. You can watch the show. We've got some other guests coming in, joining us. and I believe at least one of his daughters will be joining us coming up after 8. We got something special we want to play for her. It was an interview that Rod did with the band Perry back when the song If I Die Young had just come out.
Which is so weird.
It is, because Rod had mentioned to me, he said, hey, my daughter Savannah is a big fan of the song If I Die Young. I said, well, would you believe I've got an interview lined up with the band Perry, and you're going to get to talk to them coming up in like a few days. And he said, this is awesome. Do you mind if I bring Savannah? Yeah, I said that would be perfect. So the piece we're going to play after 8 is of Rod and piece of the interview with Kimberly and the brothers of Ben Perry, and his daughter Savannah was in the room at the time he interviewed.
Yeah.
And she got to speak to the band Perry. So anyway, that's going on. We're playing different songs, and there's so many things we've got. It's hard to do because I've lost a lot of people in my life, and I tell you, yesterday is one of those days when if it could go wrong, it did go wrong.
Yeah.
Because you know what happened. It started off with a 9:16. Got a phone call telling me that Rod SISCO had passed away. And then we were dealing with that. And then I was on the phone with you, and my phone lit up. My sister Margaret, her husband Bob Howard, been married for over 20 years. He's been suffering with dementia for a little over a year now, and he had gotten worse and worse and worse over the past month. Me and Reagan went to visit him back just about 2 weeks ago, and it hurt seeing him that way because he's always this big guy, just full of energy, and we've always big Tennessee fan, Alabama fan here. We would always go back and forth, kidding each other about you suck and we suck, and having fun with each other. Then seeing him laying there like that is tough. So we were talking about 5 o'clock, and the phone just lit up, and he had died. And to make it even worse, it was my mother's birthday.
Yeah. I think it's hard being on radio because you see us and hear us at our most vulnerable, and at the end of the day, we're just people. We're just people going through the same hard things you are, and the difference is we have to check it at the door, put on a smiling face every day, and bring our best to our audience because that's what they deserve.
Yeah.
But there's times you can't push past it, and losing Rod is one of those times because he is truly our family. And then you lost a family member, and then it was your mother's birthday, and Reed's birthday is this month, and it's a hard time.
It is.
It's a hard time.
It makes you wonder, is it time just to walk away? I don't know. You don't know what to think.
No, it's not time to walk away. It's time to hang on. Just got to keep hanging, Barry.
So, but thank you for all your comments. So we're looking at these. If you want to read a couple of these online, and oh, by the way, Tyler May's in the room with us, and Tyler is one of my best friends, I would say, and he reached out to me last night, and I appreciate that. But it's good to have you on the show. I know it's difficult circumstances. Usually when you're in here, I'm not in here. You're over here and filling in for me, and you do an awesome job. And me and you have been through a lot together, and you've been through a lot with Rod SISCO.
Yeah, tough week. Tough. Yesterday was a tough day, and we're going to miss him. No disrespect to Barry or Mike, but Rod's probably the best voice we had on these airwaves.
I agree.
And
he could have worked anywhere you wanted to.
He could have been not a medium market. He could have been a major market voice.
But he loved QSB,
and he chose to stay here his entire career. And
he literally never worked another job. Like, he never rang anything up on a cash register.
Nope.
He never bagged anything. He did radio.
He told me one time, he said, I've worked here longer than I haven't. And I went, what? And he's like, yeah, I've worked here longer than I haven't.
Yeah.
And so when I started doing the math, I understood what he meant. He was alive working here longer than he was alive not working here.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk more about that. So you want to read some of the comments coming in on there? We're Facebook Live is what I'm talking about. And thank you for joining us. And we've got some more guests coming in a few minutes.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that they're sorry for you.
Let me
And
make this
everything
clear.
that's
This
going
is
on.
not about me today.
Well, you know that.
And I was just saying that I don't want anybody to think this is not about me, but it's just hard when you lose somebody you've worked with for 30 years, and it's tough because you know in your mind that QSB will not be the same QSB going forward. It won't be.
No.
Whether it's Rod or Mike Allen or myself that walks away, ends it here, or if we've been QSB for 2 years now, and Trey Avery, or that guy. When you lose somebody, especially a friend, it's tough.
It is.
He
yeah.
wasn't just my coworker; he was
Yeah.
my friend and your friend.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about Rod in a minute. Well, I'll go ahead and mention that his daughter. I know Savannah's coming in, but if I've learned anything, I wish I could have been half the dad that he was to his kids, because he talked about them all the time and he loved them so much.
This is what one comment says from Mindy. She says he was the absolute best dad ever to his 3 kids.
Yes. Nonstop. Anytime you would talk to Rod about anything, it would usually come back around to his kids.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of dad that, I wish I could be. I could have been to Reed and to Reagan now. And if there's anybody out there that has, and I'll brag on you for a second, that as far as Rod being a great father, you're one of the best moms I've ever seen. And your love for your girls rivals that. It equals for Harlow and Mayor. I've never seen a mom that puts them so high first of what you do to your daughters, and you're the most amazing mother I've ever seen in my life, and your love for them is unmatched. So you're doing the best thing. What Rod did for his children, you are doing it. So be proud of yourself. And I think you need to hear that, cousin. And Tyler, what I know about his son, you're a great father, Tyler. You and Sam are 2 of the best parents I know. Y'all do. Anytime I talk with you about it's Jordan, it comes back to your love for your son.
If anybody's ever wondered if we're a close group around here, I think Barry's done a pretty good job. I listened on the drive in this morning. We are close.
Yeah,
we are close.
we are.
We know about each other's families. We know about each other's hard times we're going through. And we're not the only ones in the world that go through trauma. We're not. But we just have a microphone to help us cope with it.
Yeah.
And just be here for each other. That's all we can do.
So that's what we're trying to do this morning. And we'll have some more comments coming up. It's 7:38. Rod SISCO, our afternoon announcer, our good friend, he passed away yesterday morning, and this is the morning show talking about Rod. It's not about us, it's about Rod. And I tell you, someone that Rod loved was help me, Rhonda. Will's in here with us. Hey, Will.
Hey, how are y'all?
We got Mark Bricky on the phone, too.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hey, Mark Bricky, how you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, that was one thing that, Rod would always be adamant about was talking about his Camry, his car, and keeping that thing immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think most of the time when he'd go up there, he wouldn't try to buy anything. He just wanted to talk to Rhonda and see everybody in there and just be a community guy like he always was.
Well, Mark Bricky, thank you for joining us this morning.
Man, I tell you what, we've been praying for the WQSB and South Mountain Broadcasting family because we know what it's like to lose pieces of your work family. We've lost several over the last few months, and I've just been praying for you because it's rough, guys. It's rough, and I love Rod. I tell you, a lot of times back when Alan and Barry were busy, Rod would help me do a commercial. And just always nice. Every time I walked in, he would get up and come and see me and talk to me. And he's just a fabulous guy. And I had no idea, Barry, that you and him had been there about the same amount of time.
Yeah, he came in 6 months after I started, basically, and we've both been here ever since. And that just shows you that low turnover here at QSP. You really got to screw up or just want to leave to leave this place, Mark.
The same way as Mount Toyota, yeah. So, that is awesome. You guys have been a great team, and man, I loved it. I actually listened to the morning show more than the afternoon show, but I would listen to Rod from time to time. He was a true professional.
Yeah.
I just loved what he did. I mean, he was, always up for the St. Jude stuff. Just an all-around guy. I mean, I literally, to be honest with you, I'm still in shock when I heard it. So, anyway, I love you guys, and thank you for honoring Rod today. And, I'll be listening this morning.
Well, thank you, Mark. We appreciate you and love you, and be sure and tell Rhonda we're thinking about her too, and we know she's been through a lot also. And hey, thank you very much, Mark.
All right, we love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
All right, thanks, Mark. And Will joining us. Tyler's in here, and you're sharing a microphone. How about that?
Yeah, that's a little different for me.
Yeah. So you were here yesterday. So if you would, let's talk more about it. You've been here for almost a couple of years now.
Just short of 2 years. But actually, I've known Rod longer than those 2 years. I mentioned to y'all yesterday. This would have been 12 years ago, 2 days ago. We came in here and made our debut on the radio with Cameron, and it was on Rod's show. And when I first started working here, I walked in and he said, "Will." I said, "Hey, Rod." And he's always followed Cameron's journey. And one of the first days I worked here, he told me, he said, "You remember when you came in here and your story really hit me, and y'all were giving away bracelets for our Cure for Cameron event, and I still wear one today."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I still have that bracelet, and it sits on my mantle." And to me, that just, like I said, his commitment to what he did and to the people that he was around meant so much. And, I wrote something yesterday. I don't know if y'all want to hear it or not.
Absolutely, yes.
But
yes.
Y'all know me. Anytime there's something, I write it down for a specific occasion. But it says, "I want to remember and honor the life of a man who is not just an afternoon radio DJ, but a friend, a source of joy, and a constant companion in our lives. Rod SISCO wasn't just about playing music on the airwaves. He brought it to life to our everyday moments. Whether we were stuck in traffic, headed home from work, or simply enjoying our afternoons, Rod's voice was always there, a steady presence that made us feel like we weren't alone. Rod lived his life with a love for music that was as deep as a vinyl record. Music has a way of capturing moments. Every song on a record or a CD represents a chapter in our lives. Something that brings us back to a first kiss, a road trip with friends, a night out, or a time when life was simpler. And Rod understood that better than anyone. He wasn't just spinning tunes, he was spinning the soundtracks of our lives. The ones that we often didn't know that we needed until they were played. Mm-hmm. His commitment to music wasn't just professional, but it was personable. He lived and breathed it, sharing little-known facts about a band or an artist, a genuine passion for stories behind the songs. You could always count on Rod to pull a random fact out of nowhere, whether it was about the history of a song, obscure details about a musician, or unforgettable tidbit that made us go, "I didn't know that." Mm-hmm. And, one thing in the afternoons, I get to see the morning show, and I get to see the afternoon crew, right, and see the differences. And the afternoon crew, they're a little different, but hearing him on the radio, one of his intros is he always goes, "All right, here we go, gang."
Here we go. Yep.
It made it made you feel like that you were a part of a group. True. And he'll say, "All right, gang," and always giving you an updated score. Or, "Hey, can you believe Morgan Wallen's got 34 songs that are in the top 40? Yeah. He's got 34 of the top 40 songs. Can you believe that?" Yeah. But, he was a family man, loving and committed, incredibly passionate. And if you had the chance to hear him talk about his family, you knew how deeply he cared. It wasn't just about his job or music. He was a man who valued relationships and cherished connections. He understood that both music and family are what truly keep us grounded and what makes life meaningful. Now, if you ever spent time with him outside of the radio, which, you know, everybody up here has, that sports was a huge part of his life. And, you know, he would have that same enthusiasm about sports or people as a rock anthem or whatever. And he always had something interesting to share. And, you know, here recently, I don't know if y'all have seen it, but Seth's Food Challenge, he had so much energy about Seth's Food Challenge.
He loved that.
Because he was a foodie. You know, he'd always tell us, and, you know, any afternoon he would either get me or get Seth or get Sabrina and say, hey, did you know Foodland right now, ground beef is like $6.99 per pound? You know, it's like, and it was fitting for him, especially on the Foodland commercials. So, you know, I'm going to miss him. I didn't know him as close as y'all did. And you've known him more than 30 years, Barry, but I'll tell you that Rod made me feel like I had known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's one thing that's unique and one thing that you can appreciate about him.
Yeah.
And, you know, it feels like we've lost one of our call sign letters off of WQSB.
That's true.
It feels that way, but, you know, just you got to think about, you know, the legacy that he lived and that he gave, and also, you know, his family's going to be able to carry that memory, because, you know, I can see it in his kids.
Yeah.
So his legacy will, you know, stand the test of time. So I just wanted to tell y'all that.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah.
Good job. And I think actually one of his daughters, I know Savannah is going to be coming in a few minutes. So we're going to play a special interview that Rod did with the band Perry back in, If I Die Young, 15 years it came out. And she was in the room for the interview. So, but anyway, if you missed the news, Rod SISCO, he passed away yesterday morning, and the morning show is honoring Rod. We'll have more comments coming up and more music that Rod loved at 7:57. I knew then it was going to be hard.
Yeah. Savannah is Rod's daughter, and we have Asia here too.
Yeah. Now, if you want this, was one of you have the wireless? There, let me make sure.
Yeah,
turn
it's
you.
not
Here we go. Now try that.
Now try.
Try it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to
There we
talk
go.
like you
You're
got to
real
eat
close,
it.
yeah.
You got to eat the mic.
Eat the mic.
Now, Rod would have wanted you to get that really close. He
Yeah.
would almost he'd almost get you in a headlock and put you down there. But thank you so much for joining us. And I know this is so difficult, and it's for both of you coming in here. It means a lot, and I don't even know what in my radio career what to say.
Well, it is hard for us, but I think that we need to set that aside for a moment so that my dad gets the recognition that he needs. And I know that it's hard on all of you as well. So thank you for showing up today to honor him.
Well, it's not about us. It's about Rod was one of my good friends for over 30 years. I know what you're going through, and if you'd like to say something, feel free. But Savannah and Asia joining us, and I'd love to see Grant again. I know Grant called me yesterday morning, and he was the first one that told me. And I've seen Grant more than I've had the pleasure of seeing you two over the past few years, because Grant would come out of the station a lot, and I just love Grant. And what I was telling Holly was I've never seen or met a person who loved his children like he loved y'all. Anytime we'd have a conversation, it would always go to y'all and talk about y'all.
I would like to
Let me play.
I would like to say,
Put a little bit closer. We want everybody to pull that microphone.
Eat it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Much
Okay.
better. There we go.
it's just been overwhelming and beautiful how many people have that we don't even know that have reached out to us and have just told us, you know, hey, we love
listening to your dad. And I just want you to know how appreciated that is. And I also want to thank you guys for how well y'all are doing with this. Me and Savannah, also want to thank our husbands. They are suffering. They just suffered loss this week, both of them with their grandparents.
I didn't know that till
And yes,
wow.
and so they have really stepped up for us in this time of our own grief. But it's been so cool, the outpouring of the community. And I think, I was telling Savannah, I was telling my husband, I was like, I really believe that I felt like I had the coolest dad. And, it wasn't just because he worked here at WQSB. I thought that was so cool, but it was because it wasn't just a job to him. It was truly his passion. And I know y'all have done said it, but I'm a beat girl. I like the beat to songs.
Yeah.
If I like the way it sounds, I'm gonna like the song. But Dad, he was truly into what the song was saying, and he liked listening to what it didn't say, but what he felt like it might be saying, and reading between the lines. And so thank y'all so much for just giving that passion life throughout all the years.
Well, you're right. Music, we had so much in common, but music was the thing. He would come back to his desk and we would talk about, hey, have you heard the new Ben Perry song? There's a line in this song that says this. He said, I think they're talking about this. Then he would break it down and we would talk about it over and over. And that's one thing I'm going to miss the most. And I was telling you that there was an interview, Savannah, that it's been, I guess, has it been 15 years? If I Die Young came out 15 years ago. And the band Perry was just starting out. And somehow they reached out to the station and said, they're from Alabama. Sort of. They're from the very bottom of the state, but they would love to go on WQSB do an interview. I said, I think Rod would love this because he'd mentioned that you love the song If I Die Young.
Do you remember this interview?
Yes.
You do, yeah.
So I said, hey, would you want to do the interview? So we connected with Ben Perry, and they said yes. So Kimberly, the lead singer, and her two brothers, and I think one of the brothers' name is Reed. As weird as it is.
It's weird.
Yeah. But anyway, they did the interview, and you were in the studio with Rod. And I want to play a piece of this for you. Do you want to mention the interview before we play it?
I do want to say something because I know I'm going to start crying once I hear it.
Oh, yeah.
But a funny story about this is I was scheduled to be here, but I guess with the time difference, they called early. And they were like, can we just go ahead and do the interview now? And he was like, nope.
Gotta wait.
He waited for me.
So he told the band Perry to wait. That don't usually happen. They usually say, nope, you got 5 minutes and that is it. Take it or leave it.
I would like to let our listeners know a little bit of a trigger warning. This is emotional, so if this is something that you can't carry with you, that is okay. But this is probably one of the sweetest, eeriest. It is. When you get the message, when you hear what Kimberly says to Rod, and then we have Rod's voice. One good thing about radio is that we'll have Rod's voice forever, and you girls will get to have your dad's voice forever. And but just a little bit of a warning, it's a tearjerker.
But listen to the very end, the last thing I think Kimberly said in the interview. And Savannah was in the room with him. So here's Rod and Savannah interviewing the band Perry.
WQSB, we are Alabama's country giant. Leanne Rhymes, I Need You. It is 412. It's Rod. My daughter Savannah is in the studio. Hey, hey.
Hey, guys.
All right, we've got the band Perry on the telephone with us. One of the biggest songs of 2010, If I Die Young. Guys, that song just puts you right there in the middle of everything, didn't it? Okay, guys, let's go ahead and talk about If I Die Young, because everybody's got a question about that song, and I know I've got a couple. Savannah's got one in particular. It's a great song. It's a deep, when the first time I heard it, it would come across as such a sad little song. And then when I hear you guys explain what it's about, it has a totally different effect on me now when I hear it.
Well, we certainly wrote it from a heart of contentment. It was sort of our statement of, even at our young ages, because we're getting to reach our dreams and live this life together, and have so many close family and friends who we're supportive of and who are supportive of us. Kind of lived a lot of life even at our young ages, and so it was a song really celebrating that fact that as long as we're making the most of our minutes. Whatever amount of minutes we spend on the planet will be just enough.
Savannah, you did really good. You're welcome. You're still on the air. Well, you're not now since you knocked the microphone over.
Sorry.
Yeah, rookies. To Shade by Men, here's Joe.
But what you said there was that's tough.
Yeah,
But-
you got to make the most of your minutes.
And it's just eerie how it comes around to now with what has happened yesterday. If you missed it, Rod SISCO, my friend, and Savannah and Asia's father passed away, and he's been with us for 30 years. So going back to that interview, Rod was so good with interviews. He was one of the best interviewers I've ever known in the business. And he was so good.
Yeah, he was hard on me, though. I heard that.
You hit the microphone.
Yeah.
But here, going back to listening to that, I know that's got to be tough, but he made so many people happy here at QSB.
I remember the day that we sat in here and did it, and I'll have that memory forever.
Mm-hmm.
He liked to. Another thing about him is he liked to pick on me, and he was like that with all of us. That's just how he showed his love.
Mm-hmm.
And
if we were having a bad hair day, he would let us know. All he says, "What's up with your hair?"
Yeah, I also need to go get a pedicure because if he saw my toes right now, if he saw your toes and they weren't pedicured, you were hearing about it. Or if he thought your shoes were ugly, he would say, "Where'd you get those shoes?"
He was always brutally honest. He was honest, but he said it in a kidding but a loving way.
He did.
He knew how to correct you but make you think he was kidding, but he wasn't kidding. He was being serious.
100%. Mm-hmm. And we like to hand it back to him too.
Yeah.
If Reba McEntire ever hears this, I'm sorry, Reba, I love you. But my dad was not a fan.
He wasn't a Reba fan.
And so I knew this. And so my Aunt Penny, my dad's sister, one year for Christmas decided that we needed to have a SISCO talent show.
Oh.
And so I practiced very hard to learn every single word of Fancy. And I performed it for him in the middle of the living room. I was like, "Dad, I know this is your favorite artist. This is for you." And so he got all excited.
He hated that song. That was one he really hated.
Hated it.
I don't know why.
The last time you and Rod got into an argument was when y'all had differences about Jelly Roll. I was sitting back in my office, and y'all's dad did not like Jelly Roll. He don't understand the hype. He's like, what is up with this man? Like, what? And you were like, he's such a good guy. He's been a felon, and he's in his story, and he's like, but he was a felon.
Yeah, but we had a lot of arguments over music, but we had so many good times. And there's some of the pictures I left you, the country radio seminar we went to. But we would go to the shows and listen to the music, and he just loved that part of the seminar. He would usually skip the meetings. Sorry, Mrs. Currington, but he wouldn't go to the meetings. But he would go to all the shows. He wanted to hear the music. That's all he wanted. That's all he went for.
Yeah.
But he loved music so much, and he loved y'all so much. And be sure and let Grant know that, honestly, if we ever had any kind of conversation, it always came back around to y'all about his children.
He was a great I want to say one more thing. So, I don't know that you guys know this, but Grant, Asia, and I always used to argue about who was going to get to go to the WQSD Christmas party.
No.
Dad. And so he would take turns each year. So when it was your turn, you got so excited. And I know he had 3 kids, but he had Greg too, and he took Greg in. And Greg was like so thrilled because one of the last parties he went to, he asked Greg to come with him. And I was like, "You're an official SISCO now." Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much for coming in this morning. I know it's hard, and I can't imagine, but please let us know if we can do anything for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, it's 8:14.
If I die young, bury me inside.
And Keith Ball is in the room. Speaking of family, here's another member of the family just came in. How you doing, Keith?
I'm good. How are you? I'm hoping you guys are hanging in there right now.
Yeah, it's John Gladden talked earlier, and you had a chance every Friday night when we would set up the equipment and get ready for a broadcast. Rod would always walk across the hall and be sure that everything sounded perfect, and they would always get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, and it's I was thinking about this morning. I was listening when John called in. He got cut off a little early, and But before a football game, when they set up all the widgets and all the electronic stuff, I have no idea what they're doing over there, but. We get everything set up, and then and we call over, and we get to talk to Rod, and it's basically 10 minutes of us acting like a bunch of 13-year-olds. There's nothing serious going on at all, unless we have some kind of an issue with sound. But a lot of times I'd catch myself standing in the background being like, man, that's Rod SISCO. Like, that is his voice, and Barry, your voice, it's just... It's legendary. And the couple of times when we did have serious moments when he would say, and I heard you talking about it earlier, he would say, I listened to y'all's broadcast last Friday night, and y'all, nobody does it better. Y'all are the very best there is on a Friday night calling these high school football games. And I think, like, Rod SISCO's telling me I'm good at something on the radio. Like, it just kind of blows my mind. He's around for so long, and Barry's been around for so long, and it's just, I don't know, it's his voice, and y'all talked about it several times, it's just legendary, man.
Well, Keith, that means a lot. You coming in here, it's going to be hard. Friday nights won't be the same.
It won't.
No,
it's
no.
It'll be fun. It'll be good, but it will be different.
It'll be different. Well, Keith, you're one of the family.
Well, I came by to give hugs. I didn't really come by to get on the radio, but I was in the neighborhood, so I wanted to come by and see everybody. And it's a huge loss. But from what I've heard, and I've only been around for about 5 years, that the biggest thing was Rod was such a fantastic dad.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic guy, you know. And I was really quick texting with my cousin's wife yesterday, and they have a bit of a drive when they leave school in the afternoons. And they said, Rod was our guy. We listened to Rod all the way home every day. So not only is this going to be hard on adults, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids that used to listen to him after school every day. They're like, well, where's my guy at?
You're right.
So it's going to be tough for a while.
It's like it was an empty chair yesterday, and it will be again today.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, good to see you. We love you.
I love you too, man.
All right, it's 8:39 on the phone. It's Linda Connor. Linda Connor, how are you doing?
Just retired.
I know. Rub it in.
Hey, Linda.
But yes.
Is this Hot Leg Linda is what Rod used to call her sometimes?
Hot Leg Linda.
Let's see, I don't know. He called me many different things. Who knows?
Well, Linda, we've had so many memories here, and a lot of them dealt with Rod, going to country radio seminar, and just mainly working with Rod. And like we've talked all morning, it's, even though you stepped away to retire, you're still part of the family, and it's an unusual group. We're weird, we're strange, we're crazy, but we still love each other.
We're family.
Don't you agree?
Always will be family. Yesterday, when Rachel called me, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I just could not believe, and it's hard to even believe that he's gone. I mean, he's always been a part, you know. And it's like I was telling you off the air, the story Peggy Haney was telling about somebody saying they were in labor. It was me.
So you were on QSB and you were in labor.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't really, but you know, had a little discomfort here and there.
Yeah.
But Rod was like in a panic mode because he was doing, I think, 7 to midnight on AVU, and I was 7 to midnight on QSB. This was years ago. Matter of fact, it was John Connor that I was pregnant with at the time.
Little John Connor was inside your belly.
How old is he now, Linda? He's in 20. Is he 30?
Oh yeah, he's in his 30s.
Wow.
That was not too long after Rod started working there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she said he was 17.
16 when he started?
Sure was.
Mm-hmm. But you were talking about some of the trips we took to CRS. I remember one, which, you know, like we said, we were staying at the Brownwater Hotel.
I've never heard of it.
That wasn't the name of it. No, that wasn't the name of it. That was just because the water was brown.
Yeah, it was. It was. Don't tell me we paid for it.
You remember when we went to the Hard Rock? Did you go to the Hard Rock that night?
I went, but I don't remember much about it. I think they had free of open bar that night.
Well, Rod, I wanted to leave, and Rod said, well, I'll walk you back to the hotel. I said, okay.
Yeah.
Who knew that it was a mile away? I mean, really. Uphill on those sidewalks in Nashville. And this was like, I don't know, maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Oh. but it was awful. And then we had to go back to the brown water. So.
Yeah, left me by myself, and I think I was held hostage for a week.
There's no telling what you did.
Come on.
No. Well, Linda, we miss you. Thank you so much. It's going to be tough the next few days. I know when the afternoon comes around at 2 o'clock, it's just not going to be the same anymore.
No, it'll never be the same. But you know what? Rod would want everybody to move forward and keep going. That's just how he was.
He would. Well, thank you, Linda Connor. It's great to hear from you.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
Talk to y'all later.
All right. Thanks, Linda.
Bye.
All right. And Sabrina's in here with us. She is Sabrina Tollison. She's worked, you've worked here off and on a couple of times. Now, how long total has your time been here, Sabrina?
23 years.
And Rod's been here all 23 of those years when you worked here.
Yes, I started in 99, stayed till like 19, left for about 3 years, and I've been back for about 3 years.
So I know yesterday was tough on all of us, especially you.
Yes, he was like my work spouse.
Because he would come into work at 2.
Yes.
Then he would usually never stay in this room in here.
No.
He always had to get out of the room, and he had to go in there and hang out with you.
Yes.
And talk about anything.
Yes, and we played a quiz game every afternoon, just about it. We found Sporkle in the afternoon, so he would eat his his turnip greens and his pintos, and then he would come hang out with Seth and I, or it was Valerie and I.
Yeah.
They're like our children.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just, it doesn't seem real. I'm in denial that he's going to just walk by and wave.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I love Rod.
I know. Is there anything else I know his daughters were here earlier, and I think Grant may come by in a few minutes. So.
Actually, even before I started working here, I had a connection with Rod. I worked with his mom at the Era Shirt Factory. And when I came to work here, she told him how lazy I was. It was like my first job right out of high school. And I like to talk and, just go at my own little pace. And he told her how good I was at my job here. So I'm like, yes, I must have improved over the years.
Yeah.
They've kept me around here a long time.
You do a great job in that. It's going to be hard. I know when today rolls around, we're not going to have anyone filling his chair again today. I think it's only fitting that Monday we'll try our best to get close to normal as we can, which is going to take a while, but I know it's not going to be the same for you at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock when he doesn't walk in the door.
No, not at all. I've told Seth we can't sporkle anymore because it was like he was our music genius. He would like, hey, click this, click this, click this. If I didn't know it and he didn't know it, and if it was newer stuff, Seth might know. But
Sabrina, we love you.
It's not the same.
And we appreciate you. All right. Thanks, Sabrina. All right, it's 8:47. Now I've had a chance to, I guess, talk to and be around Grant more than I have Savannah and Asia over the years. But Grant's come by. I've seen him off and on for years now. And I remember you just a little boy, and here he's the first one that called me yesterday. And Grant's in the room. Grant, I know it's difficult. Anything you'd like to say? We appreciate you coming in and joining us. I know it's got to be hard coming into this room where your dad spent most of his life. So. We're so sorry.
It's hard. I'm going to be so choked up I can't get nothing out.
That's okay.
If I can say one thing, I just want my dad to know he was a good dad, and I love him so much, and he will never be forgotten. And he was such a good family member to everyone in the family, and we all love him dearly. And the amount of people that's reached out, like Asia said, that people we don't even know, it's so fulfilling, and just the comfort that people are giving us. It's just awesome to see how many people he's reached and touched over the years.
Well, like I was telling Asia and Savannah, anytime we ever had pretty much any kind of conversation, because we're a close group here, and we would you hear us on the air, but you don't get to be part of us off the air. But we would hang out, we would talk, we would go to remotes, go to festivals, and no matter what we were talking about, it would always seem to come back around somehow to his 3 kids. He would always talk about that, and I was telling Holly earlier that as far as a dad, if I could have been half the dad that he was toward y'all, I would have been a better dad. He loved his children so much and always bragged on y'all and talked about y'all. He was so proud of y'all.
We love you. We love him so much, and we just thank y'all for doing what y'all do, and the way y'all have handled this. It's been amazing and comforting, and we can't thank y'all enough, and we love y'all so much.
It's not about us. It's about Rod. Today is about Rod, and I know there's still some plans coming up, and it'll be up to the family if we share in those. It's whatever you think.
I talked to Asia and Savannah, and they would like the listeners to have a time that they can pay their respects. So we will post that on our Facebook as we are updated.
There's a lot of comments coming in this morning, people commenting on, and here's one from Reagan Shirley at Grant SISCO. The Shirleys are praying for you, buddy, and a lot of great comments. If you'd like to leave a comment, please feel free. And Grant, thank you so much. I know it's tough. I know you're on your way now to make arrangements, and we're praying for you.
We really appreciate that, and we thank all the listeners for the prayers. We definitely feel them, so we really appreciate
You're
everything.
welcome. It's the least we can do. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you.
And that's Grant SISCO Rod's son, and Tyler's in here. Tyler, it makes you feel good knowing that the job that Rod has done over the years, it wasn't just in here talking about records and about songs. People cared for him as much as he cared for them.
Grant, let's tell a funny story. Grant, do you mind telling the story about Rick and Bubba's limo?
Oh,
gosh.
Yeah, so one time, I guess it was back. It was a long time ago. I think it was Dad and was it Alan Taylor went to a golf tournament. I think it was in Gadsden.
Yeah,
and they snuck into Rick and Bubba's limo. I think Dad said he paid the cab driver or the limo driver $10 to get in there. And they did a radio spot inside their limo.
Inside their limo.
And then took a roll of stickers and stuck WQSB stickers all on the inside of it.
That is hilarious. I remember that one.
That's something I'll never forget.
No.
Just the stories. I mean, I know there's one. They can't go over the airwaves. And I know his ears probably just perked up when I said that.
There's a lot of them.
A lot of stories, a lot of memories, and I'm just glad I'll always be able to remember that stuff. And he had a great time here. He loved it here.
Well, it showed on the radio. It showed how much he loved his job and how much but he always put y'all first, no matter what. He worked a lot of long hours, but he always still put y'all first.
Yeah, I just hope he knows how much we just truly.
He does.
Truly
Trust
love
me,
him.
he does. He talked about all the time about how close y'all were, and he knew. That's something you don't have to worry about. He knew exactly how much y'all loved him.
Like you said, he'll hurt your feelings. He'll be brutally honest with you. But, he'll text you 30 minutes later and act like nothing was wrong. But he was a good dad.
Oh.
Good dad, good brother, good sister. He was a good person.
Yeah,
good
it's a
man.
good family.
Good man.
Anything you want to say to Grant or Tyler? Go ahead.
No, Grant, we love you. And one of my favorite Rod stories is he always dissected the lyrics of songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And would really. So there was this game we would play in the building where we would pick an artist, and we would only talk to each other in song titles. And so I remember the artist that day was Lone Star. And he'd be like, "Hey, Tyler, no news?" And I would be like, "Not a day goes by." And he would be like, "Nah, that's just the tequila talking." And so that was one of my favorite memories with Rod is we would pick an artist, and he was good at that game. Like nobody could hold a candle to Rod's knowledge of music.
It's like once it went in his brain, it was stuck there.
Yeah.
He knew
He
it
had a
forever.
great memory about lyrics.
Yeah, he knew
did.
it forever.
Yeah.
And we're going to miss him.
Yeah.
I also got a free trip to Vegas because he was too terrified to get on an airplane.
Oh,
really?
my
Rod he would not get on an airplane. We did a promotion with CMT for a Dale Earnhardt series that come out, and Rod was going to get to go to Vegas and do the driving experience, and turned it down because he was too scared to get on an airplane.
Oh my God!
And what, Rod?
He's always been scared of airplanes. Always.
Wow.
Anything with heights, he's out on it. Out.
Well, we're coming to the end of this show, and anything, Tyler, before Will, anything you'd like to say? Come on over here, Will. Anything you'd like to say to?
Seeing you put those headphones on just really hit home. But I do want to ask you, from the station, how many hats has your dad given you that's been from up here?
Over 100.
It have to be. And I'll tell you one thing that I'll miss is that light blue Potato Festival shirt that he probably wore about 3 to 4 days out of the week.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you can't count the hats and the shirts that I've got from here that I wear to work still to this day.
Well, Grant, thank you for joining us. I know you're on your way, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you again in the next day or two.
We appreciate y'all, and we love y'all, and we love you, Dad.
We love you, Grant. We'll see you soon. Well, Holly, it's been a tough show, but we're here to talk about one person, and it's been hard.
It's been hard. We have talked about, we sign off every day, and then we just keep going with our busy lives, and we talked about one day is going to be the last time we sign off. So if this were to ever be the last time I signed off, I would just want to say thank you to our listening audience. Thank you for the support that you give to our station, to our staff. You have become like family to us, and you put so much motivation into what we do, and what we do is for you. And I would say thank you to Barry for teaching me everything that I've known through this. You've been my own personal university, and I have learned literally from the best. And Rod, you will never be replaced, but you will always be missed.
That's well said, and I agree. If this is my last show on QSB, you never know. Rod didn't leave here Wednesday thinking I'm not coming back tomorrow. He pretty much told Trey, "See you tomorrow, man."
Yeah.
Yeah. See you, homie. They were just kidding with each other. They were always just that way, talking to each other, and that was because he got up that morning, I'm sure, making plans to get up and head on to the radio station soon, and it didn't happen that way. So there's going to come a day. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And if it does, I've had a great life, and love you guys. Love Tyler. Love Will. Love you, Holly. You've been great. Linda Connor just called. Love you, Linda. No guarantee I'll be back Monday. There's nobody knows. You don't know, but love the listeners. They made it fun. It's been fun. Appreciate it. It's 9:00.